Good evening. We are at Maryland Presbyterian Church. Welcome to the Labyrinth here. I'm going to turn this around for just a second. Hi. It is super hot today, although the sun has gone behind the clouds, and that seems to have helped a little bit with the heat. So not as bad out here as I was expecting. Hope you guys are staying cool wherever you are. So tonight's Labyrinth walk, that's why I'm here, to do the weekly Labyrinth walk for our summer walk series. And I picked Maryland Presbyterian Church because it's amongst these beautiful trees, which I hope you're seeing in the background. The labyrinth's underneath these huge trees. So it's been shaded most of the day, probably. So it is I'll say a few things about the labyrinth itself, and I'm going to turn it around so you can see the labyrinth instead of me. Much more interesting. So I hope you're joining me live this evening, but if not, I would love for you to watch it at a later time. So, sorry. I am going to put this on pause for a second while I post a description. So that'll just take me a minute here. I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to have to do two pauses here because I'm not as well organized as I was last week. So this is just a welcome so that people join us late. They're able to know what they're watching. And today, the Maryland Labyrinth is the Santa Rosa Labyrinth design. The path is the same the same design as at Govan's Presbyterian Church and at Thanksgiving Place at Stadium Place. Labyrinth is also Santa Rosa Labyrinth. And I brought my notes with me today, just so I could tell you who designed Santa Rosa Labyrinth, because it's a more modern design. It's designed by, I missed a page here. Designed by Leah Good Harris in 1997, 1998, and as she describes it, the Santa Rosa design was the first of a wave of neo-medieval designs created since the mid-1990s in the U.S. by diverse labyrinthers for different needs and styles. These contemporary designs meld together the 7 circuits of the classical labyrinth with the quarter and half turns of medieval labyrinths. The distinctive feature at the Santa Rosa Labyrinth is where we have this little pyramid structure here and lanterns, known as the heart center. So usually labyrinths within the labyrinth have no space that isn't walked upon, isn't part of the path. This design, in addition to the center, which we'll get to, has this space called the heart center. Also want to talk to you a minute about what we're going to do today for our practice. We're going to use a fairly well-known practice that was created by Veriditas. And Veriditas is an organization dedicated to inspiring transformation through the labyrinth experience. They are sort of the labyrinth people in the U.S., certainly, and even maybe worldwide. So, their labyrinth practice is structured as 4 stages, labeled remember, release, receive, and return. I am also going to put you on pause. Sorry about that. I went to get to the description so you can read along or use at a later time. If you're watching this at a later time, it's this description of the 4 stages of walking the labyrinth, but basically it's remember. So before we start walking the labyrinth, we take a time in gratitude to be thankful for our life, to bless the people in our lives. And if there's a specific event or situation troubling you, you can bring that to mind, and if you can, try to form a healing question before you start walking. The release part is as we walk into the labyrinth. Not unlike last week's practice, this is a time to quiet your mind and to release your troubles. So you take the time walking into the labyrinth to open your heart and feel whatever you might need to feel, and just become aware of your breathing as you walk. Take slow breaths as we're walking in. And then we receive, standing in the center. It's a place of reflection. We just stand there as long as we feel we need to. Open ourselves to our higher power, whatever that higher power might be for yourself. And just listen and open your heart. And then walking on the way out of the labyrinth, we just use that as a time of integration of our experience. Experience the sense of well-being, healing, excitement, maybe, calm or peace. So I hope you enjoy walking with me this evening. I'll say something brief when I get to the center, but we'll take a moment now for the remembering, which is this time of gratitude, and bringing forth any sort of healing question that you have. And then we'll walk into the labyrinth, and as we do that, we'll be releasing all of our inner chatter and any troubles or concerns we have. As we walk out, we pause to look at the heart center. And this is our time of integration for whatever our experience is in the labyrinth and whatever we may have received while in the center. Let me pause here at the end of our walk to say a brief prayer of gratitude, to be thankful for whatever we received from this time in the labyrinth. To be grateful for this time, to be still, even though walking, and quiet, and listening for what's in our heart, as well as listening for guidance from our higher power. I hope you enjoyed this walk. I am continuing to do these every week. Doing them via Facebook Live is definitely still an experiment, so I would appreciate any feedback or suggestions. I'm also going to put a link for signing up to receive an email reminder of each of these walks so you don't miss a walk. And if you do that, I'll also send you my Labyrinth walk guide, which includes some basic walking patterns and approaches. So once again, I'm going to put you on pause for a second. I'll be right back. And one more thing, if you're in the Baltimore area and you have a labyrinth that you'd like to have me walk, I'm open for suggestions. I've got a list of quite a few, but always interested in hearing about other labyrinths. Enjoy, and blessings for the rest of your evening and for your week.